Hey guys, what's going on? It's Cake back with another video showing you my various World of Darkness books, and now I'm going to start with Werewolf the Apocalypse. Now right here is the revised core edition, which is the edition I would be using if I was playing just straight up Werewolf the Apocalypse. And this is a copy I got off of Drive-Thru RPG, which you can print your own copies now, which is really nice. I wish they would do it for Vampire the Masquerade Revised Edition. I wouldn't have had to have gone out of my way to buy an expensive copy on Amazon. But they can do it with all the other revised or latest updates of the older World of Darkness books, which is really cool. And I much prefer it to the 20th anniversary editions. And then I have the same book in plastic like before, but this is a version I had actually, when I was a kid, I printed this out. It was a long time ago now. Like, you can even see the, if you can see it, it's my, the order number and everything back when they used to do that on Drive-Thru RPG products. They don't do that anymore, so it just shows its age there. I don't know how old that is, that it's not a thing anymore, so I don't know how old that's showing that to be, though. Next up, I have a second edition in sleeves as well. I think the copy I got was really ratty, so I just decided to put it in sleeves like this. I don't even think I intend to use this edition. I just think it's really cool to look back at older versions of the World of Darkness. The version I'm always going to prefer, though, is the revised edition. And then Werewolf Player's Guide. I mean, pretty self-explanatory. The source book for World of Darkness, if you're playing a werewolf. And then I have the earlier edition of the Umbra book, which is Umbra the Velvet Shadow, which is the spirit world from the werewolf's perspective. There are many different perspectives in the old World of Darkness of what the spirit world is like, and to them, to the werewolves, this is a good book to learn, even though I would definitely recommend getting the revised edition, or like the second version of this that was with the old World of Darkness books, just for more up-to-date information. Then Dark Alliance Vancouver, which is actually a book for both Werewolf the Apocalypse and Vampire the Masquerade, which is a pretty self-explanatory. It takes place in Vancouver, and it's just one of those crossover books. This is really cool. I don't know anything plot specific to this book at all. I just know I just know that pretty much. This is actually one of my favorite books, the Book of the Weaver. Now, in the werewolf lore, there's like three parts of a trinity that pretty much make up the three forces of the world. There's the Weaver, the Worm, and the Wild. So it's like raw energy creation is wild. Weaver puts that into form and order, and then the Worm is entropy and destruction, essentially. So it's all three makings of life. Like, it exists as energy, it takes on form, and then it's destroyed. So it's like the cycle of life, essentially. And like the Weaver was seen as it can be some werewolf games' main antagonist. It's usually the Worm that's the main antagonist, like the force of destruction, but sometimes people like to make it the Weaver, where it's like too much order and such is destroying everything. And like they have cool werewolves, like some of them will be cybernetically enhanced or just like complete cyborgs and stuff. And then like when you cross into the Umbra and you're in the near Umbra or the penumbra, you see like different spiders and spider webs all over everything. And it's just all of the Weaver's control over like skyscrapers and things like that. And then this is the earlier book of the Worm, the Force of Destruction, and typically the main bad guy. Werewolf was really like trying to be an eco-friendly game against pollution and like ultra corporatism and stuff like that, and the Worm was kind of the face of that. You know, all of pollution and everything like that. So, it's the typical enemy in Werewolf the Apocalypse. And then I have Cairns, Places of Power. This is an earlier book, and it's just a different source book for the places where werewolves would get together, which are called cairns. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that wrong. I probably am. Is it Cairns? Cairns? I don't know. It's probably a pronunciation on like the first page, and I'm just looking like an idiot. And then There's Ways of the Wolf, which is a book on playing characters that are born as wolves. As a werewolf, you have one of three choices: to be born a wolf, born a human, or born a werewolf offspring, like two werewolf together, creating an offspring, which is a big no-no in werewolf society because it comes out deformed all of the time. So this is a source book on being a character that was born a wolf. So like to get you in the mindset of having a wolf-born character. And then this is a Black Dog Factory book, isn't it? Yes, for adults only. This is a book on Fomori, which are the worms, foot soldiers. They're really like nasty, disgusting creatures, and just gives you a lot of really cool ideas. Although sometimes it's just like pretty disgusting, but that's kind of the point at the same time. It's an adults only book, so no peeking, kids. Nope. And then Rage Warriors of the Apocalypse, which is a character specific book. Like it gives you information on different characters, and I'm pretty sure they're all specifically from the card game. Like here's all like the different card artwork throughout the book. I'm pretty sure that's why it says Rage specifically. I don't know, I wasn't even looking. And then Under a Blood Red Moon, which is a source book for both werewolf and vampire, where it takes place in Chicago, and it's like one of the big battles in Chicago and stuff, and that whole thing that goes on. I don't know much about the Chicago lore in World of Darkness because I'm not gonna use it, so I don't really need to read up on it. You know what I mean? Like with World of Darkness, there's so much information out there that I can't be expected to know everything. Like there are like World of Darkness historians out there who are like still learning stuff every day. Like when they wrote the old World of Darkness, they were literally just going along with each book, like just creating the universe. So it's like different writers would like write different stuff, and there's so much information. I can't be expected to know all about Chicago when my characters aren't going to be ever dealing with the situation. Like I could just have like one character make an off remark about it, but it would just go completely over my players' heads because my players aren't like super into World of Darkness or anything. They're kind of just allowing me to be their storyteller. Next we have the Rage Across various werewolf books. They were the source books for specific areas for Werewolf the Apocalypse characters, and they're pretty self-explanatory, so I'm just going to go through them real quick. We have New York, which I'm sure that might be a popular place to play it. I mean, there's obviously a lot of people that would be living there that might know World of Darkness and want to play there, specifically as werewolves, so there's that. Then you have Rage Across Australia, which this seems like it'd be a really cool place to play Werewolf the Apocalypse. I imagine that the wild is pretty strong here, and I think that was a point. There's just a lot of weird stuff, and it's like the lost tribe of the Bunyip, which is an old werewolf tribe that got destroyed, is detailed somewhat in that book. And then Rage Across the Amazon. It's definitely one of the earlier books, I can tell from the bordering. It's pretty cool. Did they make another version of this? Maybe not. But it just seems like it'd also be a cool place to pit your characters, because it's a big thing between the wild and the worm fighting each other because of, like, the rainforest being destroyed, like deforestation and everything like that. And then there's Rage Across the Heavens, which is like a source book for I know it has it's like more information on the Garu cosmology, and it's like prophecies and stuff, and I know it has information about the Perfect Metis, and I'm pretty sure this is the book where the Perfect Metis is detailed on its birth and stuff like that. It was one of the signs of the apocalypse for the werewolves was the Perfect Metis being born. A metis being that cross between two werewolves that's deformed, so it's like a big deal that it comes out undeformed, and it's a sign of the apocalypse. And then I have the Book of Spirits, which is a pretty cool book to have, Axis Mundi, for all the different spirits. The spirits is a big thing in Werewolf the Apocalypse because the werewolves worship different totems, and they get special powers from spirits and stuff, so it's cool if like your werewolf character wants to call upon different spirits, or or if you're a storyteller and you have the desire to use a lot of different spirits in your game, definitely check this book out. And then this is one of the few other changing breed books that I have. It's the Bastet, which is like the cat people. I actually have 2 copies of this book because I didn't think I had it when I saw it a second time in the store for some reason. But yeah, it's definitely one of the more popular breeds to play as that's not a werewolf. So you have all the different cat people here. It's like all the different kinds of like big cats you can play as, and they have their own tribes and information and such. And then here's the Hengeyoke, the shapeshifters of the East. Basically a get-together of different changing breeds, usually existing in I don't know if it's Japan specific, but it's just like the Asian groups of shapeshifters. I think it's the only book with information on the kitsune, which are the fox changers. And then here's the Nuwisha book, which is coyote changers. It's a cool thing to have if you wanted to not be as strong as a werewolf and have some cool different like trickster powers and stuff like that. And then the Koraks, which are the crow people. I thought it was really cool to have these characters, but I don't think they return in the New World of Darkness. And then I guess the last book I have for Werewolf the Apocalypse is the Glasswalkers tribe book, my favorite tribe of werewolves. They're like cybernetically enhanced, the techno walkers, that kind of stuff like that. A lot of people, like a lot of characters in World of Darkness, a lot of werewolves don't trust this tribe because they think that they've been consumed by the Weaver too much, and like they're gonna fight against the other werewolf tribes, but they're still a part of like the main 13 werewolf tribes to play from, and definitely my favorite if I had to make my own werewolf character. So yeah, this has been Werewolf the Apocalypse, all of my various books for the series. Definitely one of my favorite of the World of Darkness series. It was the first series I got into for World of Darkness when I was a kid, and I would just read through some of the books, and it was just really good imagination fuel for one thing, because you could have like your enemies be almost anything because they're just imagined to be disgusting, Fomori and such, and it's a really imaginative game that I would really recommend. So yeah, if you want to see any more of these videos, I will have more on my channel. Take it easy, guys. Also wanted to show off this cool Storyteller Screen I have, and I think it's 2nd edition Werewolf the Apocalypse that this Storyteller Screen is from, but it's the one I have, and regardless of the information inside being up to date or not, it's just really cool to look at. And if I were to play just a werewolf one, I would definitely use this regardless. Yeah.